Lucky you.
You need to get a job.
Millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing.
This might be the smallest palace I've ever been in. We'll just have to find a way to make £50 billion on our own.
Welcome to my set.
Unemployed immigrant.
I've always wanted to know how to make it. Is that too advanced?
What the bloody hell is Gorgonstein?
You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry.
They walked onto the world stage in a tornado of confetti and cathedral bells. Yet barely a year later, the laughter started soft at first, like someone testing a microphone, then suddenly roaring through packed comedy clubs. It was a London Friday when stand-up provocateur Simon Brodkin stepped into the spotlight, dropped his smile and snarled that after finally hearing Harry and Meghan's side of the story, he absolutely hated them. The crowd howled and clapped like it had been waiting for permission to turn.
I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. Now I've actually heard their side of the story, I f***ing hate them.
That single set cracked the veneer. Up until then, the fairy tale wedding shimmered in our collective memory. Black gospel choir, gleaming carriage, promises of modern monarchy.
Ginger Royal meets fit American actress. She then discovers that everything is so unfair. He then discovers that racism is actually a bad thing.
But somewhere between that honeymoon glow and the couple's first Christmas card, tiny irritations multiplied. Tabloids hinted at palace tantrums. Staff stories leaked. Netflix whispers floated. By the time Brodkin's joke hit YouTube, comments were cheering the punchline, not defending the Duke and Duchess. The honeymoon was finished. The roast had begun. Inside late-night writers' rooms, producers smelled blood in the ratings water. Trevor Noah riffed that the first black woman in the royal family took one look at Harry and demanded he find a 9-to-5. Stephen Colbert quipped that Harry's new job search might rank somewhere between professional ginger and second-string Chris Hemsworth. Even polite British panel shows shifted tone, swapping polite curiosity for eye rolls and digs about avocados and private jets.
If you are a watcher of the royal family and you like secrets, you might want to sit down because this is a doozy. Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H. What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Audiences kept laughing because every week brought a fresh tease. One source described Meghan allegedly ordering aides to iron her blouse 10 times, not 9, and instantly the bit became late-night shorthand for impossible diva demands.
Is this a wrinkle I see in my blouse? Who the f*** ironed this? I told you to iron this shirt 10 times. It looks like you only ironed it 9.
Comics discovered gold in Harry's confession that he never noticed racism until meeting Meghan. Cue the new punchline. Apparently colonialism skipped history class. Gossip sites amplified the jokes fed the gossip, and a feedback loop of ridicule took shape. By early 2019, even casual viewers felt the mood turn. A viral sketch showed a Meghan lookalike wagging a jar of homemade jam at a cameraman while barking for flour sprinkles. TikTok teenagers lip-synced the clip, layering it over shots of chocolate spread and budget marmalade. The narrative was no longer about a glamorous couple escaping dusty tradition. It was about two people who seemed to need cameras rolling at all times, yet insisted they crave silence. Every contradiction became setup. Every sweet interview a setup for sarcasm. Every palace photo an invitation to meme culture. And that was only the opening act, because once cartoons grabbed the story, the laughter would get louder, nastier, and far more permanent. They thought the Docuseries would rewrite the narrative. 6 glossy episodes, drone shots of Montecito mist, tears caught in perfect soft focus, but the moment it dropped in late 2020, something snapped. Viewers streamed it out of morbid curiosity, then marched straight to social media with snark instead of sympathy. Trevor Noah distilled the mood in one crisp line, grinning at the desk and warning Harry that when an American spouse tells you to get a job, she means an actual job, not a 12-part confessional.
And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. Yeah. She looked at Harry and she's like, you need to get a job. You need a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry.
The laughter felt sharper because the series tried so hard to be earnest. Harry lamented having to pay for private security. Meghan sighed about learning to curtsy. Orchestral swells begged us to feel their pain. Yet millions of quarantined viewers, facing layoffs and rent fears, heard only the world's tiniest violin. TikTok stitched the sound of their complaints over videos of luxury kitchens. YouTube reaction channels paused every dramatic close-up to roll their eyes. What was framed as vulnerability now read like deluxe self-pity, and comics pounced on the gap.
They were complaining they had to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
Stephen Colbert pretended to calculate their security bill, then announced he would crowdfund it with store coupons and half-used Starbucks cards. Samantha Bee wondered aloud if climate change might reverse itself if the couple simply stopped airing grievances. Even normally gentle daytime hosts began slipping in side-eye quips about our favorite privacy influencers. The Netflix binge became a roast marathon, each episode unlocking fresh punchlines about private jet footprints, curated chicken coops, and that signature phrase, "my truth." Behind the laughter bubbled genuine fatigue. Journalists tallied the paradoxes: exit the monarchy but keep the titles, criticize tabloids while partnering with Spotify, preach compassion while suing newspapers. Those contradictions turned every heartfelt confession into the setup for another joke. When Harry explained that racism only truly dawned on him after meeting Meghan, Brodkin's earlier sneer resurfaced online. Apparently colonialism skipped Windsor's history class. Memes multiplied faster than any PR rebuttal, drowning sincerity in punchlines.
He then discovers that racism is actually a bad thing.
By New Year's, the numbers told their own story. Streaming success on paper, meme dominance in practice, credibility shrink-wrapped and shipped to the bargain bin. The Docuseries had aimed to humanize, but comedians converted it into a masterclass on privileged blind spots. And once the laughter got that loud, other creators sensed open season. Animated cannons were already loading, ready to blast the royal brand into full-blown caricature. The next wave would be impossible to ignore. It happened almost overnight. One minute the Sussex saga was fodder for snarky monologues. The next it was immortalized in neon caricature, courtesy of an animated series that treated Buckingham Palace like a reality TV fishbowl.
What the f*** are you two doing here?
Hello, Grandmother. We've returned.
Well, we're kind of packed. You snooze, you lose.
It's just for a few weeks until we get back on our feet.
When HBO Max dropped The Prince in early 2021, audiences watched cartoon Harry burst into a modest Los Angeles flat and marvel, straight-faced, that it was the smallest palace I've ever been in. The line detonated across Twitter, proof that even fictional royals could not grasp apartment living, let alone Costco milk prices.
Hey.
Did you know it's cold in there?
Yeah, it's the refrigerator, Harry.
Must be an American thing.
It's not.
I have to tell you, this might be the smallest palace I've ever been in.
Well, it's an apartment.
The episode doubled down. Meghan, rendered with perfect blowout and a perpetual phone glow, tells him they will simply earn £50 billion to stay afloat. The absurd figure, meant as satire, felt weirdly plausible given real headlines about Spotify contracts and Netflix cash. Viewers laughed, not because the number was outrageous, but because it mirrored how critics pictured the couple's ambitions: grandiose, limitless, strangely detached from actual work. Every joke landed like a dart on a board the real duo had unknowingly designed. Then came the ketchup. In a later scene, Meghan pitches housewife-style product placement for a boutique condiment line, bragging it will take LA by storm. Cartoon Lisa Rinna blinks, sips wine, and reminds her the market already has a brand. It is called Heinz. The slapsticks because off-screen the real Meghan is trademarking jams, honeys, and even frozen treats. Satire blurred with truth. Audiences cackled at the sauce mishap, then opened their news apps to find trademark filings for American Riviera Orchard almond butters. Reality became the punchline's footnote.
Oh, and I brought some of my homemade ketchup. I'm coming out with a line of condiments, ketchups, mustards, that sort of thing.
We're really taking LA by storm.
Yeah, and the show's been a great platform to help me promote my brand.
It's already a brand. It's called Heinz.
Comedy writers smelled endless supply. In subsequent episodes, Harry fumbles a barista gig, confuses an AA meeting for an acting class, and gifts his wedding ring to the working people like a confused Robin Hood.
Milk? End of aisle 1.
For your kindness, sir.
Okay. What'd he give you?
Get away, it's mine!
Each gag riffed on real-life missteps, meditation apps, climate speeches via private jet, while exaggerating the cluelessness just enough to feel both ridiculous and eerily plausible. Viewers binged the cartoon the way they had devoured the docuseries, only this time every scene arrived pre-packaged with its own meme. Critics of the show howled that it was mean-spirited, yet the timing was brutal and perfect. Public patience for privileged hand-wringing was thin. The pandemic still pinched wallets. The loudest royal voices were no longer the Queen's measured Christmas speech, but 2 ex-insiders lamenting security bills in sunny California. The prince did not introduce new complaints. It simply animated the ones people were already whispering, then played them on loop until the whispers became roaring laughter.
People were saying, meh, it's not meh.
It's pronounced me. The H is silent.
By spring, YouTube reactors stitched cartoon clips beside real interviews, pausing to ask which version felt more believable. Spoiler, the cartoon usually won. And just when critics thought the joke might lose steam, another animated torpedo from an entirely different show prepared to launch its rally cry, already echoing across the internet, promising the loudest laugh yet. Saturday Night Live waited until spring, then pounced with the precision of a surgeon who moonlights as a gossip columnist. Weekend Update anchor Colin Jost grinned at the camera, recapped the Sussexes' financial independence, and unveiled a mock headline. Suits spinoff follows Meghan juggling legal briefs while caring for an unemployed immigrant. The audience laughed before he could finish the punchline, because everyone knew who that immigrant was.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
That same week, Family Guy dropped a cutaway that felt like a slapstick echo of the SNL joke. In Seth MacFarlane's signature hyperspeed style, a royal butler wheels in a pallet of millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
While Meghan chirps about a $250,000 Instagram ad for fast food.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
Viewers barely had time to inhale before Harry muttered he shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense, and the scene snapped shut. The internet lit up. TikTok dance remixes, Twitter quote tweets, reaction videos stacking laughter on laughter.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
Suddenly, the ridicule was not confined to edgy stand-ups or niche cartoons. It was woven into network television comfort food. If primetime animation and SNL, two American comedy pillars, were willing to clown the couple, then ridicule had gone fully mainstream. Press analysts noted the speed of conversion, less than 3 years from royal wedding glam to being shorthand for influencer excess. Social media metrics backed it up. Every clip of Harry and Meghan's satire doubled the engagement of comparable celebrity jokes. Laughter had become the default reaction, like muscle memory. What stunned palace watchers was the consistency of the storyline. From Seth Meyers to Jimmy Fallon, every host hammered 3 beats: the contradictory quest for privacy, the giant streaming paydays, and Harry's perceived lack of direction. Even politest talk shows could not resist. On a guest hosting stint, Amy Poehler sighed that she wished Netflix paid women as much for actual acting as it does for royal oversharing, earning cheers from a crowd that once adored the Sussex fairy tale. The jokes were no longer risky, they were expected. Behind the scenes, Hollywood writers whispered that the couple had crossed the threshold from hot topic to durable punchline, a status usually reserved for political gaffes and reality TV meltdowns. That threshold mattered because once the writer's room files you under always funny, it becomes nearly impossible to rewrite the narrative. Every new appearance, every hint of a project, now faced a first wave of laughter before critics even bothered to ask if the project was good. The snowball was gaining mass, and an even bigger comedic avalanche was queued up across the pond. South Park's creators were polishing a full musical blitz on privacy, and the chant they wrote was about to drown out every other meme on the timeline. Nothing shatters royal mystique like a cartoon prince banging a drum while screaming "We want privacy" at strangers, and in February of 2023, South Park delivered exactly that. The episode, bluntly titled Worldwide Privacy Tour, opens on a faux Canadian talk show where the red-haired prince and his Instagram-loving wife wave placards that read, "We want privacy," while marching across the set. Within hours, the chant escaped the show, ricocheted across Twitter, and mutated into the year's catch-all meme for performative oversharing.
We want privacy! We want privacy! Hey, thanks for having us on the show! It's so awesome to be here, it's great!
The brilliance lay in repetition. Every few minutes, the animated couple burst through another scene. Airport runway, suburban neighborhood, local pub, still chanting for solitude, still clutching a drum kit and megaphone.
We want privacy! We want privacy!
Viewers did not just laugh, they looped the refrain, set it to dance tracks, and pushed the hashtag Worldwide Privacy Tour past 100 million views on TikTok in under 4 days. Influencer edits layered the chant under footage of Starbucks lines and crowded subways, turning everyday errands into parody royal protests.
We want privacy! We want privacy! Because we need some privacy! We want privacy! We want privacy!
For Harry and Meghan, the timing could not have been worse. Only weeks earlier, they had announced a new series of intimate podcasts aimed at revealing inner truths and setting the record straight. South Park made that marketing copy sound like the setup to a joke it had already punched. Major outlets reviewed the episode less as entertainment, more as cultural verdict. Variety declared the Sussex brand permanently memeable, while a Guardian columnist likened their situation to a snake eating its own tail, each privacy plea nourishing another content deal, which in turn invited fresh ridicule. Late-night hosts pounced. Jimmy Kimmel staged a faux telethon, offering viewers 1 full minute of royal silence for a $10 pledge. Stephen Colbert unveiled a spinning wheel labeled Harry and Meghan's next privacy project, landing on options like tell-all puppet show and live-streamed meditation retreat. Even British morning programs, usually cautious about royal commentary, replayed the South Park clip on loop, while anchors tried and failed to stifle giggles. Meanwhile, TikTok teens who were barely alive during Diana's era could now recite Sussex grievances by heart: the crying bridesmaid dress, the curtsy tutorial, the alleged baby skin tone conversation. Yet they learned these details not from the couple's interviews, but from parodies slicing those interviews into bite-sized punchlines. Satire had become the primary delivery system for Sussex lore. By the episode's end, the animated prince decides to move to a quiet Colorado suburb, then blasts fireworks to announce his presence. The symbolism was brutal. No matter how remote the setting, the circus travels with them, and the louder South Park's drumbeat echoed online. The more creators sensed fresh material. In Los Angeles, TikTok comics were already filming sketches of Meghan barking orders on a fake soundstage garden, while British podcasters penned extended disclaimers about vulgar satire, just in case the Sussex lawyers came knocking. The laughter was global now, self-replicating, and the next trend would show how easily influencer culture could weaponize that roar. The post-South Park aftershock rippled straight into the influencer trenches, where dozens of creators realized they did not need studio budgets to keep the roast alive, just a ring light and a faux English accent. Leading the charge was TikTok's Jillian Hatsumi, who slid into frame wearing an immaculate white blouse and whispered, "Welcome to my garden." Well, my set, actually, before cackling about non-organic peanut butter and barking at a cameraman to act like you're having fun. Viewers lost it, stitching her clip over shots of wilted houseplants and dollar store jam jars, mocking any lifestyle brand that promises authenticity while clearly filming on a soundstage.
Hey, lowly cameraman, come over here and try some fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. Try the fried chicken. We need to make it look like I actually care about my camera crew. Come get some fried chicken. Act like you're having fun. Act like you're having fun.
The algorithm feasted. Each Hatsumi video birthed response memes, duets of people pretending to be nannies, butlers, even the disgruntled fried chicken crew she orders around. Within a week, the hashtag Meghan Method had racked up tens of millions of views.
It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle, you know it's Sussex.
With users parodying the Duchess's alleged habit of moving snacks from one bag to another to elevate the ordinary. No professional writer's room could keep pace. TikTok's open-source comedy factory refreshed the punchlines hourly, always one comment thread ahead of any Sussex rebuttal. Then the Pigeon podcast sketches swooped in, slathering the satire with delicious narcissism. A faux host congratulates Meghan for playing the part of a delusional made-up princess, only for Meghan to correct him. "I am a delusional made-up princess," and the bit spirals into telepathic text from Beyoncé and plans to trademark the word empathy. The audio became instant lip-sync fodder, fueling a trend where creators filmed themselves reading imaginary 5-star reviews aloud to a silent Siri.
You know, it's so funny that you say playing the part of a princess. I am a princess.
Yes. No, I know, but for the magazine interview, you were playing the part of a delusional made-up princess.
You know, it's so funny that you say playing the part of a delusional made-up princess. I am a delusional made-up princess.
Influencer culture sharpened the ridicule because it mirrored the perceived hustle. One day, Meghan launches American Riviera Orchard Jam. Next day, TikTok bakers troll the drop by smearing grape jelly on Wonder Bread and calling it California caviar. A beauty guru reviews the non-existent jam's skincare benefits, declaring it cures royal overexposure. Each spoof amplified the sense that nothing the couple released could outrun the laughter now permanently attached to their brand. Ironically, the Sussex's own media strategy fed the storm. Every new trademark filing, tequila, tea towels, even frozen treats, surfaced in public databases, offering fresh prompts for TikTok's rapid-fire satire. Creators did not need leaks. They mined official paperwork, then staged sketches where Meghan hypes a line of artisanal oxygen. Comment sections filled with users predicting the next product, from empathy-infused bath bombs to curtsy coaching apps. By late 2023, measurement firms recorded a stunning data point. The average TikTok engagement on Sussex parody clips outpaced their serious interview excerpts by more than 3-to-1. Brands took note, booking parody creators for campaigns that had nothing to do with royals, simply to tap the viral energy. When influencers become the gatekeepers of your public image, and their default mode is mockery, narrative control is officially gone. Yet the punchlines were about to travel full circle, back across the Atlantic. into cartoon Buckingham Palace, where a different animated queen was sharpening her claws for a finale roast the couple never saw coming. Lisa Rinna's trademark pout barely twitched as cartoon Meghan strutted onto the animated Bravo set, waving a bottle of homemade ketchup like it was the crown jewels. "We're taking Los Angeles by storm," Meghan purred, unaware the cameras had been rolling since she walked in. Off-screen viewers howled. By now they knew the gag. Every Sussex venture, whether podcast or produce, arrived swaddled in hype and exited under a cloud of side-eye.
Yeah, we're hoping the ketchups and mustards are going to be sold at Whole Foods, which, would be huge. Oh, and they're all organic in case anyone was wondering.
We weren't.
In the episode's crescendo, Andy Cohen fires her on the reunion couch, offering the ultimate reality TV insult, a friend of slot. Cartoon Meghan recoils, shrieking that she is not that desperate, then storms off in a hurricane of bleeped fury. Bravo fans recognize the reference immediately. Real Housewives demotions are fan code for irrelevance, and Twitter erupted with memes of ketchup bottles labeled friend of flavor.
How was your first day?
I was fired. It was so hard.
Outside animation, real-world headlines mirrored the satire. Trademark databases revealed Meghan's team locking down rights for jam, honey, even dog treats, while lifestyle glossy editors whispered they had not tasted a single sample. Influencer fatigue set in. TikTokers filmed faux unboxing videos of empty jars, rating them 10 out of 10 for audacity, 0 out of 10 for reality. Comment sections brimmed with jokes that the next launch would be Sussex Air $30 bottles of Montecito Breeze. Back on Bravo, each time cartoon Meghan tried to redirect the storyline toward her brand, fellow cast members rolled their eyes. One moment she praised Lisa Vanderpump's charity work. The next she demanded the women Instagram her condiments at Whole Foods. Viewers giggled because the satire echoed genuine reports. Event planners claiming Meghan requested bespoke lighting. Magazine staffers recalling last-minute photo shoot tweaks that cost thousands. The ketchup saga crystallized public frustration. Glamour without grit. Commerce without candor. Even diehard supporters felt the wobble. Columnists who once hailed the couple's media savvy began asking whether product overload diluted the humanitarian message. Late-night hosts recycled the Bravo scene, cutting to Stephen Colbert joking that the only thing thicker than the ketchup was the irony. Podcast panels debated if the Sussexes had morphed from changemakers into walking ad reads. The laughter shifted tonal gears from gleeful mocking to weary headshakes, like an audience watching contestants overstay their talent show welcome. Yet the couple's response remained silence or another trademark filing. That vacuum invited more comedy. A viral TikTok trend saw creators guest star on fictional Sussex shows. One user staged a cooking vlog where every spice jar was blank, captioned "Waiting for Meghan's label." Engagement soared, the algorithm rewarded the ridicule. By year's end, brand experts tallied the damage. Every new Sussex venture trended for humor before heritage, for snark before sincerity. And just when it seemed the ketchup saga marked the nadir, an animated queen across the pond sharpened her claws. Because in satire's kingdom, there is always a higher throne, and the next cartoon coup would drag Harry and Meghan right back to Buckingham. Whether they liked it or not, they limped back to London carrying suitcases of shattered California dreams, and cartoon Buckingham Palace greeted them with all the warmth of a refrigerated greeting card. In the Prince Harry drags an overstuffed duffel up the marble steps, only to have the animated queen rasp, "What the bloody hell is Gorgonstein's?" before banishing them to a guest room that doubles as her exercise closet. Viewers lost it. Every frame screamed that the prodigal pair had nowhere else to turn.
Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No! I refuse! I'm sick of it!
Outside animation, the tabloids were humming a similar tune. By early 2024, rumor pages whispered that Montecito neighbors had grown tired of paparazzi traffic and that Harry might be house hunting in Windsor. No confirmation surfaced, yet late-night monologues treated the idea as a foregone punchline. Jimmy Fallon joked that the couple missed home so much they reactivated the royal group chat, only to find it renamed Do Not Disturb. The audience roared because it felt plausible. Satire and speculation now lived side by side, impossible to disentangle. Inside the cartoon palace, Meghan attempts a fresh rebrand, proposing a family charity gala called Gorgonstein's without explaining what it benefits. The queen deadpans that she will bury herself in this crown before handing it to Charles, then orders the newcomers to take that bags. The scene drips with mob boss energy, turning royal hierarchy into comedic menace.
How dare she? They'll have to bury me in this crown. Do you hear me?
Meanwhile, British morning shows replayed the episode while tabloid columnists analyzed the real Windsor calendar, noting which family events the Sussexes skipped and which invitations seemed lost in the post. Each absence fueled fresh jokes. When Harry skipped a garden party, a commentator quipped he was probably busy learning water recipes at Starbucks. Meme accounts paired the quip with cartoon Harry asking how to make tea. The laughter looped back to itself, tightening like a corset. The boomerang narrative carried a moral many viewers embraced. You can flee the castle, cash in your grievances, and trademark every condiment in the pantry. But eventually, the drawbridge looks mighty tempting when Hollywood slams its gates. The irony? The same press the couple blamed for misery now supplied the only oxygen to keep their relevance aflame. And satire, once an accessory, had become the main storyteller, shaping public memory faster than any heartfelt podcast ever could. By the final cartoon beat, Harry sits on a pull-out sofa muttering that he never noticed the Queen's face was on the money. The line hit because it echoed a sentiment brewing far beyond Buckingham. How did two people who toured the globe miss so many obvious cues about perception? The world kept laughing, partly from schadenfreude, partly from disbelief, but mostly because every new episode, headline, or rumor felt like one long setup for the next joke. And across the comedy landscape, writers sharpened their pens, ready to spoof lawsuits, Spotify splits, even rumored reality competitions. Yet before the ink dried, a fresh twist popped up in legal disclaimers and podcast cold opens, proof that satire itself now needed armor because the royal punchlines showed no sign of slowing. Satire had become so relentless that even the satirists started wearing flak jackets. Late 2024 opened with a tongue-in-cheek trigger warning from the Pigeon podcast crew. This extended segment may strike some listeners as vulgar, offensive, or worst of all, serious. Please adjust expectations accordingly. The host paused, winked, and dove straight into a fresh Meghan parody. Proof that even comedians felt compelled to shout, "This is a joke," before swinging the punch.
Earlier today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
Lawyers, insiders claimed, were watching. A report in The Hollywood Reporter cited heightened legal sensitivity around celebrity caricature, especially when the targets possessed hefty media contracts and global cachet. But if the Sussex camp hoped the threat of litigation would muzzle mockers, the effect backfired. Amy Poehler popped up at a New York charity gala, opened her remarks with "allegedly," and proceeded to roast Meghan's trademark spree, pausing mid-monologue to ask, "Is this enough qualifiers for the legal team?" The ballroom erupted, donors clinking champagne flutes in giddy approval.
If you came up with the picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle, even though she's not white.
Comics now treated the possibility of a cease and desist as a badge of honor. Kevin Hart trended on X for 48 hours because of a deepfake video. He never actually roasted the royals, yet the rumor flew so fast fans created reaction playlists before fact-checkers stepped in. The velocity of false comedy proved the point. Meghan and Harry had become cultural shorthand, punchline currency anyone could spend. Podcast networks leaned in, instructing hosts to lead with heavy satire disclaimers, to sprinkle rumor has it like confetti, and crucially, to keep jokes flowing. One producer compared the situation to old-school carnival dunk tanks. You pay a ticket, you take your shot. Trying to ban the tank only makes the line longer. TikTok creators joined the metagame, overlaying faux legal scrolls onto parody videos while lip-syncing the South Park chant. Irony stacked atop irony until viewers no longer separated the caution from the comedy. It all felt like one rolling skit. Even mainstream journalists joined the wink. A Guardian op-ed opened with a mock legal note. Statement, "The following may contain humor," then dissected how public perception of the Sussexes now filtered through comedic frames first, factual analysis second. The writer argued that in an age of meme velocity, any attempt to control narrative resembles trying to copyright laughter. And once the comedians band together, good luck stuffing the genie back into the jam jar. By holiday season 2024, late-night hosts ran a recurring bit, spinning a wheel labeled potential lawsuit or punchline. Each segment ended with the same verdict, both. The gag resonated because audiences sensed a paradox. The couple's media power could threaten small creators, yet every attempt to clamp down only amplified the very jokes they wanted gone. So the laughter rolled on, armored in disclaimers, buoyed by audiences who now expected the legal dance as part of the entertainment. And while attorneys sharpened pens, comedians sharpened tags, ready to fire at the next whiff of contradiction, because the final verdict of public opinion would come not in court filings, but in the roar of a crowd still hungry for one more headline to lampoon. The roar swells, then collapses into a single laugh track that seems to echo from every corner of pop culture. Stand-up stages, streaming cartoons, weekday podcasts, and the endless scroll of TikTok. One by one, the clips flash. Simon Brodkin's venomous punch, Trevor Noah's job hunt tease, cartoon Harry marveling at an apartment palace, South Park's drum-pounding chant, a ketchup bottle hurled across Bravo's reunion couch. It is a kaleidoscope of ridicule that took less than 7 years to assemble, and now feels carved in granite.
Let me start with you, sir. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Win.
Here in early 2025, the Sussex brand sits beneath that perpetual laugh soundtrack, every new move pre-memed before it leaves the brainstorming deck. Industry watchers say the couple are plotting a scripted series about resilience, yet late-night writers are already pitching taglines. Coming soon, The Privacy Chronicles, filmed before a live studio audience. It is not malice so much as momentum. Jokes have mass. Once they roll downhill, they flatten nuance in their path. Even sympathetic voices admit the landscape has shifted. A prominent sociologist told the BBC that public empathy is a finite resource. Burn it too fast and people move on. In other words, the fairy tale cashed out its goodwill for streaming gold and left an overdraft of faith. Meanwhile, cartoon reruns syndicate 24/7, ensuring each new generation meets the couple first as punchlines, second as people. The feedback loop is locked. Could redemption still break through the noise? Perhaps, but it would demand a silence longer than any worldwide privacy tour drum solo. Genuine low-key philanthropy, no cameras, no docu-crew, months of radio quiet, that is what image consultants whisper off-record. Yet the same consultants shrug, knowing the next trademark filing or speaking tour will likely arrive before the echo fades. Laughter, once embedded, becomes the reflexive response. So where does that leave the audience? In a curious space, half entertained, half exhausted, always ready for the next contradiction to drop. We have watched goodwill morph into satire, satire mutate into meme, and meme harden into cultural shorthand. The arc is instructive. In the 21st century attention economy, even royalty can be outranked by a punchline. Now I want to hear from you. Which moment in the comedy cascade hit the hardest? And do you think the Sussexes can ever reclaim a narrative not wrapped in irony? Drop your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you won't believe what's coming next.